Friends, welcome back to yet another episode of the Rising Author Experience. Today, I have not one, but two special guests. I'm sitting down with my man, Jeff Mangus and Tim Jacobs, two professional ghostwriters who built the Academy of Ghostwriting, a program designed to teach writers how to turn their craft into a real business. This is so cool because you guys, today what we're going to talk about is not only the business of things, but how they are sort of rethinking how people work with them. So I want to get into that. Between them, they've worked with hundreds of authors, helped bring powerful stories to life, and now they're helping others do the same, showing writers how to build a sustainable, high-earning ghostwriting career. I think this is one for those who are really interested in understanding how they can improve their businesses as writers. So if you're an author-preneur out there or a writer-preneur, this is the one for you. I'm telling you, these two guys are amazing at what they do. So here we are. Tim, Jeff, thank you for joining me. I appreciate you guys.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having us. We're really excited about doing this. And, Tim and I talk about, of course, you involved in helping us with the Academy of Ghostwriting. It's just a great thing. We really appreciate you having us on. Appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's get to it real quick. Jeff, if you don't mind, give us a brief history about your background, the writing world that you've been in, and then we'll jump over to Tim, and then I want to get started on some questions.
Sounds great. I'll do mine. I'll do a 30-second, quick trip through me. I've been ghostwriting. I've been writing for a very, very long time in my lifetime, but professionally, I started in 2017. And I scored my first book proposal and first book with HarperCollins Leadership, and that grew my career up to today, which I'm at 40 plus books here, and here we are with 8 number one bestsellers and 5. Just had one go number one internationally in 5 different countries. So really, really excited.
Amazing.
And I couldn't have done it without him. So we'll definitely talk about that. But I'm passionate about, if anyone gets to know me, I'm passionate about writing. I truly believe in the human spirit, the craft of it. I talk about it all the time. We've talked about AI, and that's a whole other podcast. But at the heart and soul of it, I believe in business. I believe in the writing business, and I believe in helping others see their success in their careers. I love helping others do that.
Love it. Tim, the floor is yours, my friend.
Thank you. And thanks for having us on here and giving us some of your time and for the invite. For me, it starts way back to, I've always had a love of reading. And once I learned, how to write in elementary school, I just loved to write. And I've always had some type of side hustle that fell into the freelance writing world or somehow in the publishing world. And what I did when I wanted to kind of get serious about it, in 1994 to 1996, I actually worked at a publishing house, and I worked in the warehouse, pulling the orders and shipping out books. So I'm surrounded by books, basically getting paid to be surrounded by books. But the main purpose was I got to meet all the people in customer service, all the editors, all the designers, the sales team. And I'm hanging out with these people. Friday nights, we're going out for happy hours, and I'm hanging out with these people. And I'm getting an entirely 2-year free education for my time there and learned everything. And when I did my first book, well, my friend that I work with did the graphic design. Another friend did sales. Another friend did the editing, proofreading. So, they all chipped in to help me with my first book. And I just kind of kept the momentum going the best I could from there. And then years later in 2012, I said, you know what, this is no longer a side hustle. So I formed JWC Publishing with some editors and ghostwriters and just kept growing my team. And now I've taken a step back and just made like a much smaller, tight team, I would say. Jeff is one of the 4 ghostwriters that I have, and I have and then I hired or partnered with editorial service. So they handle all the editing. I just give them the manuscript. They do everything and give it back. And, it's just been fantastic. And then when Jeff and I met, we definitely are like, I would say like a yin and a yang, because the parts of the business, Jeff is like, I want nothing to do with it. that's the part I excel in and I like. And the parts of the business that I'm like, I'm kind of over this, I don't want to do this, Jeff's like, this is what I love to do. And so it just kind of works out perfectly. It's not like, we're not vying for each other's client or anything. We bring in an author, we're both involved, whether it's Magnus Media Group or JWC Publishing, our legacy books, Academy of Ghostwriting, Jeff and I crisscross all the time. Yeah. And to the author, that's a no-brainer, because you're getting two seasoned people in the publishing field that can handle probably anything that pops up during the process of you creating a book, from I have an idea to here's the book in your hand and now you're a bestseller in certain categories and areas.
That's correct.
Cool.
Tim and I, when of course I'm kind of jumping ahead, but I mean, when I started thinking about the Academy of Ghostwriting and I started formulating a curriculum, I took about a year to do that. And it was, I didn't want to just slap something out there. I really dug deep on the pillars of what were the major pain points on how to build a six-figure ghostwriting career, how to be an author, and how to make money from your work. And I really did that. But during the whole time, this is absolute fact and truth. The whole time Tim and I, we had met each other in the Academy of the Association of Ghostwriters. We were, we've had meetings, but I always had him in my mind, and I didn't understand why. And I've told him that I didn't understand what it was. But when I launched that curriculum, it was just a course at that point. And then Tim approached me and said, "Hey man, I'd really love to be a coach in this." And I said, "How about let's not make you a coach, let's make you a partner, and let's build this." So we took it from there, and he and I dove deeper. And how long was it, Tim? I don't know how many meetings, months. I mean, we really dove deep we broke it down into, 6 weeks to, into a deep dive with the Academy of Ghostwriting, deeper than, we're seeing because it's such a deep, really thorough curriculum that we only take 3 students at a time, because give that intention. And what students are getting are 2-on-1, 2 live coaches. They're getting mock discovery calls with, they meet real people and train on how to interview a potential client. We're giving them a literary attorney who's giving them real world literary advice on everything from copyrights to contracts to agreements. It's all part of it. And then we also have you who's a marketing expert, who's an author expert, coming into this and delivering your powerful message. And these students are walking away changed. And when I say changed, with new trajectories, we just had one post the other day that we changed her life. She actually said that. And I was like, I have to admit, I was kind of like, I had this, a little tear. It's because to see what we're doing, you can hear the excitement in my voice. I get excited about it, because no one's doing it. And I say that because it's not that everyone can do that, but Tim and I have developed this thing to the point where it's so we meet them where they are. That's the difference. We have a curriculum, but we talk about this all the time. We meet our students where they are, whether they've written 12 books, 1 book, or no book. It doesn't matter. We take them and we grab them where they are, and then we pull them right through where they need to be. And it's really exciting to see it happen.
It's amazing to see, like, you could see the aha moments. You can see when something connects with them. You could see their head spinning. They're taking notes. And, one student we had, the very last meeting we do is kind of just like a exit kind of meeting, exit interview, they might call it, I guess, in the 9-to-5 world. But we just wanted, one of the things we're open to is, give us feedback. What should Jeff and I do differently? What was the high point? What did you not understand? Where should we spend more time? And, this student, she says to us, she's like, this is what I could say right now. With my ghostwriting business, I'm exactly where I want to be, except you guys got me there in 6 weeks, where if I did this on my own, it would have been 2 years easily.
Wow.
And she's just like, to her, that was just her whole world opened up. And, there was one meeting, Jeff and I were doing the 2-on-1 mentoring with her. And she was like, literally like one day away from like, I'm applying back into the corporate world. I can't do it. And literally, like, after our meeting, boom, she's getting clients. She's redone her LinkedIn. She's doing a newsletter. I mean, it was night and day, like a flip of a switch.
That's remarkable. I love that so much. I feel like when we get together with other people who, I think there's just this energy, right? When we see potential in other people that, at the time, they just don't necessarily see it in themselves. I find that a lot with the amazing people I get to work with. They're usually pretty brilliant, like, man, beyond measure. So much so that I'm like, how am I getting to work with you? Like, this is crazy to me, right? Some of these people are like damn near astronauts and engineers, and they've done like fantastic things in their lives. And I'm like, I'm the lucky one here, where they're like, I don't know how to see this anymore. I don't know how to put all of this together. And I think you guys do something very similar. Clearly, like, you're taking somebody's passion and abilities and, all of those things, and then really showing them where that could go for them. And I think that's so powerful. And to me, I think what you guys have going on as far as like your group is that when people come there, they're in a group, so that energy gets passed around, right? And it circulates, and then you get new ideas, you get refreshed. Like I'm starting a coaching. Well, I'm not starting. I'm going to be a part of it. It's a coaching program that honestly one of my clients is putting on, and I'm like, I want to do that. And he's like, what do you mean? Like, you're fine. I'm like, no. It's just because I know how to do the thing and I can do it well, it doesn't mean that I can't learn to keep learning it and keep seeing what I can improve on. That's so I think even with what you guys do, like, yes, it's not, we're not teaching you how to ghostwrite. This is what I kind of found about you guys, right? Like, is that you're not teaching them how to actually do the writing and stuff, but it's like the business of it, the understanding, the seeing around the corners that they may not be seeing. And I think that's what excites people, is that they're being reminded, of the like opportunity in this space is actually still very vast. And if they can kind of carve out their niche, there's so much opportunity there. So can you guys tell me
one thing real quick? Can I say one thing?
Yeah, please.
And I apologize for interrupting this thing.
Okay.
One of the main premises that I want to, if anybody gets anything from this today, I want them to know that and I talked about at the very beginning about my belief in the spirit of writing, and I've talked about this with Tim and in depth. The heart and soul of the Academy of Ghostwriting and Mangus Media Group and JWC is that we want to elevate and we want to lift these writers up, because in a world right now full of noise, right? We got a lot of noise out there, and it's harder and harder for these writers to rise above and stand out. Okay. And at the heart of the matter, we want them to understand how to do that with their businesses, how to really treat themselves as a business. Because if we're married to the idea of doing it three people at a time, because those three people are going to go out and they're going to level up. And when they level up, more people will see that. And we're trying to actually, a part of me feels like we're actually kind of saving the industry in a way. Okay. Just a little bit at a time, right? To show the value of what we bring to the table across, we want clients to see our value before we talk to them. And that's hard to do in today's digital world, to rise above. So that's what we're teaching, is not only the business side of writing and ghostwriting, how to treat yourself as a business, but we're teaching how to elevate your value, show that value, which is critical. And again, like Tim said, you see those aha moments when I see writers realize that they have value. They have real value. They don't even recognize it. I mean, like he said, we had one who's ready to quit and go back in the corporate world and just give it up. Within an hour, she changed, right? And that has something to do with, it has something to do with what we're doing. But at the end of the day, what we did was we opened up the lid and said, hey, we held up a mirror and said, look, this is what you are. This is where you can be. And that's what we're trying to do across the board with the Academy of Ghostwriting.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
What is an exercise or a framework inside the program that tends to create an aha moment for one of your students?
I'd say definitely the discovery call. because anyone, you know, that's a ghostwriter, who is a ghostwriter going into the business, you know, it's 6, 7, maybe a dozen discovery calls before you kind of learn, oh, I shouldn't say this and I should do this. And if the client says this or asks that, this is kind of how you should answer it, how to do a segue, those kind of things. No one has that, you know, let me do one where I don't have to worry about it. And they're still nervous. You know, there's two people. I mean, Jeff and I, we mute our cameras, we mute our mics. We're just there timing them. When the time's up, that person who was on the mock call leaves, and then we give that ghostwriter real-time feedback of these were your strengths, these where you need to kind of work on getting a little more polished with. But no one offers that, and hardly any ghostwriters ever had that opportunity. And like I say, out of our 12 meetings that we do, the top 3, that's one of the top 3. They say that discovery call alone is worth the price of admission, because no one offers you that. No one goes through that. And it's, you know, it is a real discovery call, even though it is mock and it's, you know, set up with certain parameters and stuff. But I think the students learn more from that than really maybe almost anything else that, you know, Jeff and I offer mentoring, both group and on, you know, on the private calls.
That's an excellent point. Excellent point, Tim. You're right. I wish I'd have had this when I was started. You know, I have botched so many calls over the past learning, you know, right, hitting those roadblocks. But I want to say another thing that I think is the magic potion per se is, again, going back to when I say we meet them where they are, I mean, we provide an atmosphere of confidentiality, an atmosphere of safe zone, no judging here. We get past the, hey, here's the curriculum, and then I ask a question. I usually say, tell us right where you are. What is your main struggle? What is going on in your business? And let's hit that head on. And most of the time, I'd say 80% of the time, and Tim will hopefully agree with me, it's always about their confidence.
Yeah.
And it's always about confidence. It's always about confusion on which direction to market themselves. And it's always about confusion on should I niche or not. You know, it's always these things that the big questions, right? And then that's where we dive deeper. Yes, we pull from our curriculum, but again, it's about the individual. And that's what I think I love about the Academy of Ghostwriting, is because we take them. It is about those. It's about you as an individual. We want to help you as that person, whatever status you're in. Brand new, rookie, doesn't matter. If you're a seasoned ghostwriter, we guarantee you that we can help you elevate your career and also gain some confidence. Gain that confidence, because confidence is the game. Confidence is the game.
And two things to piggyback
sales call. Yeah, sorry.
Oh,
yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, one is the Academy is very different from any other program or course out there, because, and I understand, like, you know, people will create a course and it's videos, it's PDFs, it's podcasts, it's read this book, and and it's a do-it-yourself thing, which I understand. For the creator, that's residual income. Someone signs up for your course, they pay $400. All you do is put an email into a system and everything gets emailed out to them. And with Jeff and I mean, it's 100% live, and you're allowed to record your private sessions. We don't, we record the group sessions just for the Academy's, reference, but we don't hand that out. So if you miss a class, you miss a class. You don't get the replay 2 days later, you know, to just watch at your own speed or anything. And the other thing too, which one student said to us when we were asking, you know, what did you really enjoy about the Academy? And her response was, you know, and this girl was just fresh out of college, just graduated like back in May or something, and took the course, you know, September, October. And she said, I like that you and Jeff were very honest, and you guys weren't coming across like we do everything right. You guys shared so many times you fell on your face and got back up. And she goes, I just came out of college and no professor does that. No professor says, here's where I messed up. Here's where I made a mistake. But you guys are talking about, botched discovery calls, losing clients, doing this, doing that, and should have done, could have done, didn't do. And she goes, anything I've ever been in, no one's ever kind of offered that kind of, peeling back the curtain and letting us know, oh, these were the hard knocks you had on the way up. And, Jeff and I say, that's why we're here, because we don't want you to have those hard knocks. That's why we do the mock discovery call. That's why we bring in experts. Don't just slap up a website, listen to Hussein, do your 30 minutes with Hussein, learn ahead of time things you should and shouldn't have on a website or your LinkedIn profile, things about the contracts and the copyright laws and agreements and, everything else that, Jeff and I bring to the Academy. But that was her biggest takeaway, was we're two real people who've been through this. And like Jeff says, we didn't have anyone giving us a mock discovery call. I would have loved to have that. I can't tell you how many, I probably lost my first 5 or 6 possible clients because I didn't know what I was doing or saying, and I had no one coaching me.
Yeah,
that's right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we, as you see, Tim and I, that's what I love about it. And I'll say this too, talking about us, those flaws, those things we talk about are real. And Tim and I never concur. That's what I love about our partnership. We never concur on, hey, we're going to say it this way. We never have done that. You know why? Because he's got different experiences than me and vice versa. And we love to keep it real like that, right? That's where the magic happens, is keeping it real, because I don't know what he's going to say. He doesn't know what I'm going to say. But at the end of the day, it always works out, because it's all about the client. It's all about that writer and making them the best. And his advice, if it fits, it fits, right? And we're not the people that say it, like Tim said, it's not our way or the highway. We're just giving you a foundation. But that's, it's a strong foundation. I'm not going to discredit it. It's a very deep foundation in building a 6-figure career, not only in ghostwriting, but just writing itself. We teach a lot, but again, it's all about that, that having that yin and yang, like Tim says, is bringing that real world stuff. And that's the magic of it. That's what
I tell people, one of us has the direct route, one of us has the scenic route, and guess what? They end at the same location. And you can take bits and pieces from each and put it together. And there are times too, Jeff will be like, you got to do this. And I'll be like, okay, here's where I push back, because I think it should be like this. And it's not like Jeff and I don't get into an argument or debate or, oh, let's fix it for the next class so we're on the same page. They like that, like, wow, there are multiple ways to get to the same result. And that's what we provide by having different experiences and, different businesses, different business models, I should say, and things like that. And that's one of the benefits. You don't get that with just like a bunch of videos and PDFs of do it yourself, or if you're just doing one-on-one, that's the only advice you're getting.
Yeah. And I feel like there's not a whole lot of, let's be real. I mean, I could be wrong. I don't really know too much about the ghostwriting world, in the sense that, like, again, you learn the craft of writing, but you don't learn the craft of a writing business.
That's correct.
It's just like you learn. I learned all my marketing, all my sales calls, all that stuff, and actually building my apparel printing and website business when I was younger, right? Like, you learn the hard way. You fall on your face. Yes. But now having to be able to bring that into my publishing world and author agency and stuff is, it's so helpful, because I've built up those muscles. But then again, like, there isn't a school per se or a course or whatever. And if there is, it is usually recorded or PDFs, or it's in a book. And look, there's nothing wrong with that. Some people can look at a book, apply everything in it, and they're good. But most of us need this, like, sort of camaraderie. We need to sort of tailor what you're saying or what you're teaching to my work specifically, which I think that one-on-one individual stuff is why it's so powerful, because it's really potent, because you're like, what I'm about to learn specifically applies to my pain points. I think that's really powerful. So can you tell me a little bit about maybe one or two authors that you guys have, or I'm sorry, ghostwriters that you have worked with, and what's one big outcome they've had? I know there's a plethora of case studies that you guys can share, but maybe one that surprised you with them getting a publishing deal or an author deal or whatever it may be. Can you share one or two stories?
I got one that I'll share right away.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Just to the point that you were just making, Hussein, I say people might not realize it, but the do-it-yourself model compared to the one-on-one coach, or in our case, two-on-one coach, it provides the thinking out loud part of the process, which you don't get if you're just trying to fill out a PDF. You have no one to bounce that back off of, because some questions could be very broad, or some are not quite like yes or no answers. And that's what that provides, having that live coach, the live sessions. And like Jeff and I, we just bring, basically tenfold to that, because you're getting two versus just one coach in that arena. But one student that sticks out to me was actually someone who went through our course twice. He was he was one of the first. When Jeff and I did the very first session, we had 3 students, and going through that 6 weeks was more for Jeff and I than it was for those 3 students, because Jeff and I needed to learn, how do we go off of each other? How do we riff? How do we make this happen? What's working? What's not working? So we were totally learning ourselves, as well as providing as much as we could for the 3 students. But that student came back when we had another offer, and he totally switched from what his niche was, where he wanted to go, what he wanted to do. So he came in laser focused on, this is where my passion is. This is what I want to follow. And for him, he went from, he kind of wanted to do crime stories and people who were, had like injustice, he called it, people who were being railroaded, even though they're innocent, that kind of thing. And he says his real passion is music. He used to be a radio DJ, and he's met everybody from being in the radio, because they would come in before their concerts and do a half-hour talk and things like that. Yeah. And he's already got, I think, 3 or 4 leads with some people. If we named them, you would know these groups. You would have heard their songs. And he's just killing it. But because now he has a passion behind it, instead of like, oh, I need to get a couple projects because the mortgage is due. And that guy really stands out to me, of how he just totally flipped what he was doing and just laser focus, and now he's out there just killing it.
One thing I want to point out about this very same gentleman, the first time he took our course, and your question involved like what kind of successes they had. This gentleman, within 2 weeks of our course, he scored three ghostwriting projects.
Yep.
Amazing.
And it was amazing, right? And so we were like, holy moly, so it's exciting to see these people do this. And the last class, we had, like I say, we had this young woman, very great ghostwriter, had a lot of experience, but she was definitely confused as to where her next step was, to the point where she was ready to step out. And not only did we focus her, we convinced her, after 10 years of fighting a niche, we convinced her to find this. We found her niche. We actually found her niche for her. She realized it, and now she's on track. She's doing fantastic within a week. Yeah. So, and we're looking forward to a lot more successes. We do keep track, and that's why Tim and I. Do you mind if I talk about a little bit of the Academy of Ghostwriting, what we're doing now, as far as? Oh, sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. This is not a plug. This is just what we're doing, that we believe in our program so much, so that I came to Tim and I had an idea about it. And I was nervous to bring it to him. He's going to chop my head off, man. Cause I said, hey, what if we take our program and coach someone and then defer the payment? And I was expecting him to go, man, are you? He did.
Yeah, you crazy? Yeah.
Tim's like, wait a second, that, and then he came back a couple days later. He goes, I think we're onto something here. And so what we're doing now is we do take a down payment, but we have our program called Skin in the Game, for lack of better terms, because now we're putting what we're saying. We're working with each student throughout not only the 6-week course, but we will work with them until they get their first client. We will help them get their first client, and once they do, then we take the rest of the fee. So it's in other words, we're putting ourselves with these students, believing in what we're doing with them, and not just saying here it is and go from that. So we're no one in the industry is doing that, and we're very proud of that because we believe in what we're doing, and we believe in helping these individuals. We really do, and we put it in. We're risking our time and effort.
Right. That's really powerful. Yeah, and I think that's really powerful because look, the return on investment as small business owners and freelance writers and all these things, it has to be worth their while, right? Because at the end of the day, they're not making a ton of money to begin with, or they're maybe just starting, or they're thinking about going in this direction. So to say, you know what, here's a down payment. I'm going to learn all the skills that you're going to teach me. I'm going to go out and apply it. And when I get a client, right, that's when I can pay you the rest, or make those payments. I think that's incredibly powerful. I'm sure it helps reduce the friction to get into the program, and that's a really powerful move because like you said, not only are a lot of people not doing that, but that's really putting skin in the game. Like you're saying, like, look, and if you don't get clients, and if you don't get whatever, great, you walked away with some knowledge. Hopefully you can apply it later. It's a win-win for us because we don't feel like we ripped you off, and you don't feel like you lost a bunch of money. And I think that there's something behind that, in that you're really saying, like, we believe in what we're doing here, and it works. We've seen it work. It works for us. It works for other people. That's really powerful, man. I really love that. And this is something you guys are introducing in the new year?
Yes.
It's in effect right now as we speak.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's also too, a lot of people are in that catch-22 situation. Well, I need the knowledge and I need the know-how in order to get clients, but I can't pay you for that because I don't have the clients and I don't have the knowledge. And I myself, and I know Jeff from our many conversations, I've been on calls with people who are like, look, how would you like to make $10,000 a month? Yeah. Okay, great. I have a course. It's $8,000 and I'll work with you and you'll make 10 grand a month and da. But okay, if you believe in that, then how about this? Why don't you teach me everything? And that first month I make 10 grand, I'll give you 8 of that. No one's going to do that. They're clearly not going to do that. And that's why Jeff and I were like, you know what? We believe in what we're doing. And between the both of us, I mean, there's a lot of times too during our meetings, whether it's the private mentoring or it's the group meeting, sometimes Jeff will say something and I'm like, holy crap. Yeah. And I write that down, and I've seen Jeff do that when I'm saying things. He's like, I never thought of that. Oh, and he's right. So, he and I are learning each session along the way of things to kind of tweak into our businesses.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Really powerful.
So we're really excited about it. And, when I was in a meeting, and this is, this has everything to do with what we're talking about. I was meeting with Tim about, I had thought about starting my own publishing company, and I knew Tim did, because he was my inspiration, because like how to level up my business. And, that's before I thought of an agency or anything like that. I had an agency on my mind, but then I was on a meeting with Tim in a professional, publicist kind of thing, and we were on this meeting, and Tim was explaining what I was getting ready to do. And I was thinking, why am I doing that? Tim does that really well. Tim does this great. Why am I trying to repeat this? And it just a no-brainer. And it hit me, it's time. I wanted to create an agency, a ghostwriting agency, a writing and publishing agency that doesn't scale. I didn't want to scale. I don't want to scale. We talk about this, Tim and I do. I want to create an agency, a boutique, niched, elite agency of some of the best writers in the industry and publishing professionals. And this is right where Tim comes in. I believe in Tim. I believe in JWC. I've worked with him. We've done some books together. I've edited. I believe in what they're doing. So it was a no-brainer. So I started the Mangus Media Group, and we have an elite team of writers that are hand chosen. Some are content writers, and some are New York Times. Well, the majority of them are New York Times bestselling writers. Again, going back to the Academy of Ghostwriting, Tim and I have partnered now with JWC and Mangus Media Group as a conglomerate, delivering ghostwriting and full-on hybrid publishing with his company. So I'm ecstatic about it, because now we're really going to be able to help people. But one of the main things that he and I talked about was, how can we bring the Academy of Ghostwriting to Mangus Media Group? And we brainstormed on it, and we figured out a way to do it. So now the team gets that training for free. We do not charge our team for that. And yeah, it's so powerful, because the idea of it is, these writers, they're New York Times bestselling award-winning writers, but every writer that's professional knows that they can always improve on their craft. They can improve on their business. And when these ghostwriters they're still freelancers, they work for themselves. When they're successful, it makes JWC and Mangus Media Group successful. It also makes the Academy of Ghostwriting successful. It's a whole big conglomerate ball, right? But we're offering this now to our team for free. But we're still, of course, the public has the first choice, but we do offer it up, to our team as well, if we have a spot open. But again, we're really excited about this the opportunities we see coming, the energy behind it, right? I start getting flustered because I get excited. I've never been excited about anything like this in my life. I've been an entrepreneur for almost 30 years. This right here, Mangus Media Group, JWC Publishing, Academy of Ghostwriting. It's like I just see I always talk about this, and what we've done, Hussein, really quick, with Mangus Media Group. Tim and I brainstormed it. We talked about it before we made any kind of move, but we pivoted, making the agency an exclusive life writing agency. In other words, we're specializing in memoirs, business memoirs, true crime memoirs, any kind of memoir genre you can think of. We are doing it, and autobiographies and biographies. And it's really, really exciting, because right now we're the only agency doing that. We're the only writing agency that can do that and are doing it. And the beautiful thing about it is we've had some pushback on, like, is it business? And some of the writers, but at the end of the day, no memoir is ever told without telling the story, and no business memoir is ever told without telling the story of that leader, of what they went through, what they've experienced. So it all comes together, and we're so excited about this pivot. It's crazy good. So,
and to circle back to the Academy and offering that to the ghostwriters in Mangus Media Group, it also does two things. One, it gives Jeff and I a little peace of mind. Those who have gone through the Academy, we know what they know. We know what they've learned. We've seen them, have their aha moments through those 6 weeks. So it's like, that's kind of, it's almost like comforting, because it's a lot easier to hand them a project to do. And then also, as far as the industry goes, yes, there's other agencies with ghostwriters, editors, book cover designers, and all of that, but there are none that are investing in their ghostwriters' education. None of them offer, you join any of those other groups and you fill out your form and your bio or whatever, and a project comes in, hey, this matches you. Do you want it? Yes or no? And I mean, that's all you're getting. And with the Academy, we're offering, you're getting an education. And again, no one offers you that. No one offers that in their public or in their agencies.
Yeah, that's really powerful. Okay, so when's the next? When can people sign up for the next one? Is it starting in a new year? Can people sign up over the holidays? How do people?
They could sign up anytime. And the 4 sessions we have are January into February, March into April, May into June, and then September into October. Yep. And we already got 3 people for January and 2 for March.
That's correct.
Fantastic.
We're starting to fill up.
I love it. So, okay, if you're out there and you are you consider yourself a professional writer or want to become a professional writer, especially in the ghostwriting space, you guys, obviously, this is a no-brainer to join simply because it'll up-level your game in so many different ways. I've gotten to be a part of it. I've learned so much from these guys. The amazing people that I've gotten to meet, and as I share sort of my marketing work and how to help position these amazing people, there's always a moment of like, not just an aha moment, like, oh, I have a lot of work to do. And I think for me, what I realized in doing the marketing work really across the board is that there is a lot of opportunity, but if you only take massive action, the problem is people don't know what massive action really means and what steps to take first.
That's right.
And so in this thing, you find a lot of clarity. And I think that's the perfect filtration system for a lot of people, is that as you guys do your work, and then by the time I get there, there's a lot of clarity. Now they're just going to filter it through like, okay, here are the, 10, 15, 30, 500 steps that I need to take, like on a yearly basis, all the way down to here's what I need to do every day to get my stuff and name and brand out there.
Yep.
So like, I think personally, like learning marketing, learning sales is, I would say personally, it's a good 40 to 50% of your business. The rest, not only are these guys great at teaching, but also systemizing. So building your systems, building your understanding of things, the how-tos, all that good stuff, it matters. But if you can't get in front of someone, convince them that you're the right person for that book, to help them with that experience. Maybe it's not a book, maybe it's a screenplay. I don't know. But at the end of the day, if you can't convince that person, if you can't believe in what you're really doing and saying, you can't convince that person over a call, it's going to be just that much harder. And you're always going to wonder, where's my next client? What am I doing wrong? Maybe I'm not doing this right. Maybe I should go back to corporate. So if you're out there and you're kind of struggling with that mentality of, maybe not having enough confidence, maybe not having enough clarity, this is a great program. And, honestly, like I was just telling you guys, I'm joining this coaching program to learn how to be, have a small team. I coach a lot of authors. So I want to become a better coach, a better person to talk to, and I can listen better. And so there's nothing wrong with, even if you're really good at what you do, there's nothing wrong with getting better, because there's always something to get better at. So thank you two for coming on the show today, telling us all about the Academy of Ghostwriting. I think you guys are doing an incredible job. But before I go, is there one piece of wisdom or advice you want to give to someone out there that might be on the fence of joining, might be on the fence of trying to build their own ghostwriting work? We'll start with Jeff.
The immediate thing that comes to my mind, it goes back to what I talk about, is believe in yourself without sounding cliche. Take yourself seriously. Take yourself seriously to the point where remind yourself that you are a person, but you're also a business. If you are in business, you're a writer, that once you level up with that mindset, things start to come into focus. And then you can really, find ways to train yourself, whether it's through us or whatever. But yeah, I believe in yourself and have that in front of you. Absolutely.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I would say the most important part, definitely what Jeff said, believing in yourself and having that plan. But I think the next thing too is find someone who's already at the point where you want to be and get to know them. Anybody in the world would be like, hey, you want to buy me a cup of coffee for me to talk about myself? I'm all in. And, I'm not saying stalk the person, but follow them, engage with them, pick their brain when you can, and just keep learning. I mean, that's the best thing you can do, I think, is find someone who's already there and then just ask them, how did you get there?
Yeah.
Very powerful. What a great way to wrap up the show. Thank you guys so much for coming on today. I appreciate it. Where does someone go to sign up for the Academy? Give me a website, and then you're both on LinkedIn. So if you're out there, go follow Jeff, go follow Tim. But where do people go to sign up for the Academy?
We do have a website we should, by the time this airs, our website should be completely finished. They can go to academyofghostwriting.com, all one word. And they also, like you said, can message me privately on LinkedIn. You're never bothering us. Tim as well. His message board is open. We love you. Just, inquire, ask about it. We definitely can send you the information. We'd love to hear from you. Absolutely.
Amazing. On that note, friends, this is not only, if you know someone that is also interested in the writing world, you may not be, please send them this episode. On that note, thank y'all for joining me today. I appreciate y'all so much. Have a good one. Peace.
Thanks, Hussein. Thank you.